What makes us who we are? We can all reflect over those experiences in our lives and pluck the moments that truly shaped our world and who we've become. It would take quite a few speeches to cover all of those moments in my life, so I'm going to focus on 3. From day one, my grandmother Judy guided me with love and with strength. She was the strongest woman I had ever known. She was born with a damaged liver, which made her health a constant battle. She wasn't able to run as far or jump as high as I know she would have liked to, but that didn't deter her from living her life to the absolute fullest. I remember wanting to make her proud with everything that I did, and just because she's passed away, that has not lessened that desire in me. She showed me by example how to rise above what rocks my world, but not only to rise, but to conquer. I still want to make her proud and show her that all the lessons and example that she set for me has truly helped me become a stronger woman. I was in the 3rd grade, and I wanted to walk home so badly. All of my friends had walked home, and I didn't want to be the odd man out. My grandmother understood my childhood logic and was happy to help me find a loophole that would allow my mother to overlook the 2 major roads it took to get me home from school. The solution was going to be my grandmother meeting me halfway. My grandmother, who could barely walk, walked a block and a half to meet me so that I could hold my head high at school. As I came to the intersection of the 2 biggest roads in town, there she was, beaming at me. I crossed the street with confidence, met her on the other side, and walked the rest of the way home hand in hand. There aren't many places where a kid can go to truly while away the hours and enjoy nature, but I was lucky. I had the pasture of my grandparents' farm in Midlothian. This place seemed to have more sky than anywhere else I had ever seen. It was the personal, untamed wilderness for my siblings, my cousins, and myself. We would spend hours turning over rocks to see who really lived underneath, seeing if we could sneak up on the biggest cow in the pasture without being too scared. We tried to jump the creek to prove how strong and brave we really were, and we didn't cry too much if we failed. I learned to be a kid in those pastures. Years after those adventures, I made this farm my home, and now my nephews play here. They adventured on the same paths that we once did. One afternoon, they asked me to come and play. I was tired and I was busy, but they were persistent. The pasture seemed a lot closer than I remembered, and the cows seemed a lot smaller. Minutes passed like seconds as we turned over rocks, snuck up on cows, and tried to jump the creek at the widest spot. The creek is still as wide, and I still can't jump as far. Even today, it's like time stopped here, just for us. And in those years, it had always been just Chris and I, my brother, the 2 of us, and it was perfect. Then one day, Mother said something that changed everything. We were going to have a brother or a sister. Would there be room in our clubhouse for this usurper? Would it be a brother or a sister? Before anyone knew what happened, there he was. I knew what babies were good for, crying, screaming, and stinking, and I wasn't about to be happy about it. But the nurse brought our brother in to meet us, and to be honest, he was a little cuter, and we were a little more excited than we had agreed to be. He needed us. He was so small, and even though we didn't realize it, we needed him too. He became really sick shortly after birth, and had to stay in the hospital for what seemed like forever. We had only just gotten to meet Charlie, and now we were crying because he was fighting for his life and was not able to come home with us every day. We wanted to see him. We wanted to play with him and get to know this person. We stood there looking at our little brother and hoping he'd be able to come home soon. How did we go from deciding to shun him forever to crying, knowing that he was fighting and we were at home? Maybe having a little brother wasn't as horrible as we thought it would be. Maybe he needed us just as much as we needed him. Well, the day came and he got to come home. I remember Chris and I fighting over who would get to sit by him in the car. It happened without us knowing it. We became his brother and his sister, and we loved him. The usurper became joined with us. There was room in our clubhouse just for him. Yes, he cried and he screamed and he smelled bad, but we didn't want him any other way. He was part of our family. He belonged with us. And now, 21 years later, he still cries and he still screams and he still smells bad sometimes. But we love him anyway. Our heart was missing a Charlie-sized piece. These people, these places, and these experiences have shaped me and changed me. But not only that, they've showed me who I am. They showed me how strong I can be and that life truly is beautiful. With us today is my grandfather. Look excited. And my father. And Joe. Yay! Now you can clap.